The New York Knicks are your Eastern Conference champions, and the Knicks are on their way to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. Here's where things stand. They now await their opponent, the Thunder, the Spurs. They're all tied up in the West at 1 game apiece as we welcome you one more time from Cleveland to NBA Today. I'm with the Burgundy Bros here.
Excuse me, Malika, this is Merlot.
This is Merlot. Well, there was not a whole lot of wine and gold that we saw last night. Brian Windhurst, Danny Green.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Cabernet over there. That's
guy.
the Hall of Famer, Mr. Spears. I'm Malika Andrews. And frankly, guys, I think over the last couple of days, as the conference finals have gotten underway, there's been this discussion that maybe the championship was really being played out in the Western Conference Series. But after, Brian, what we saw from these New York Knicks, I'm not so sure that's the case.
Look, I understand that the East is the weaker conference, okay? I understand that all these people out there are saying, well, when the Knicks go play the real teams in the next round, that they're going to be brought back to earth. And maybe that is to a certain extent true. But let me tell you something. This team winning by this many points, this many games in a row, is unprecedented. This is an excellent team. This is a great team. Yes, they absolutely can win 4 more games. They will be the underdogs. How much of an underdog will they be? Well, let's see who's standing upright when they get to the finals next week and who that is. And they will, the Western Conference champ will be favored. But you do not win 11 games in a row by 260 some odd points without having a chance to win the championship. The way they're playing together, they're going to be healthy, they're going to be rested, they're going to have a great home court advantage. Absolutely, the Knicks could be on the verge of doing their first, something they haven't done in almost 60 years.
And you know what? The city is going to be on fire if that's something that happens. Danny, what was your biggest takeaway from watching last night's Game 4?
I mean, just the ball movement. Like, I've seen the beautiful game happen in San Antonio. I've seen it happen in Golden State. But the New York Knicks are actually playing together. They're moving the ball. They have depth. Their bench is playing. They're sharing. They're getting active defensively and, on a string. So, odd transition. Even when they don't get stops. Cat's getting the ball. He's involved in offense, not just to start in the half court, but in the full court. He's pushing the break. Josh Hart gets it. Push the break. OG Anunoby. Strong finish at the rim. Dunking everybody after a hamstring injury. Still looking fresh and young. And you got, ball movement here. Jalen Brunson involved in action. Little swing, get off the ball quick. Juice kicks, driving kick, basketball. Look, that's hard to guard because they don't know what they're doing. How do you guard something when the team doesn't know what they're doing offensively? They're moving the ball, finding each other. Jalen Brunson knocking down shots. Mikal Bridges, Deuce McBride, Shamet only missed one. They're hitting shots at a high clip because they're getting uncontested shots because of the ball movement. So it's beautiful to see. And like Wendy said, I don't know. Those teams out west are really good, and I love my Spurs. But the way they're playing right now, I think they could be champions this year.
A shout out to Mike Brown, right? I mean, Wendy knows he was with him. He used to be in this place in 2008, took the team to the finals. Obviously, things didn't go that well against your old Spurs. And then from there, it was a rocky head coaching road, going to replace Phil Jackson, losing that job, going to Sacramento. Actually got fired again by the Cavaliers, got fired twice by the Cavs, goes to Sacramento, turns them around, light the beam, and then they let him go on the way to the airport. Very, very embarrassing. And I know Mike, he works, and this, so diligently to prepare. And when the job got open with the Knicks, he studied film, he studied the team, and he showed them that he was prepared for this job that he ultimately got. And that's very, very hard to fill Tibbs' shoes, to do that. And he not only did that, but he took them to the finals for the first time since '99. And you guys know this in the first round, and Wendy, you probably heard some stuff like this. When the Knicks were down 2-1, there were rumblings about Mike. Could Mike be in trouble? And ultimately, they figured it out and went on a long run, and he's the toast of the town. And I can only imagine it's like a Disney movie if he could get them to win a championship for the first time since '73.
For those that don't know Mike, he's very well prepared. He's an OCD kind of guy. He used to come in film sessions and fix the TV a right direction. And one time we surprised him for his birthday. It threw him out of his rhythm so much he canceled practice. Like, he's such an in-rhythm guy.
He's really big on ironing. He likes to iron his shirts before the games. And I will say, Dan Gilbert from the Cavs has fired Mike Brown 2 times. Okay? You don't think Mike...
He did it in his house.
You don't think... not on the way to the airport. You don't think that he enjoyed being able to beat them?
Yeah. Right.
Going down memory lane. I was going down memory lane a little bit last night, Malika.
So was the entire New York Knicks fan base.
They had to go way down memory lane. A little less for me. As I was watching Landry Shamet literally hit everything. He was 11 of 12. I haven't seen a guy this hot in the playoff series since that gentleman right there, Danny Green. 2000, what was it, 2014?
13 was the outcome.
2013 finals.
Yeah.
This guy could not miss. I remember, what'd you go, like 11 of 13 or something like that?
I hit a good couple early on. I got hot early.
Man, speak your truth, man.
Yeah, it was good. I was so locked into the series.
Speak your truth.
And when I was watching Landry this series, I was like, yeah, he's having a historic run. He's looking like just Steph Curry, like myself, and like those type of moments. Game 6 Clay, like we've seen certain shooters get hot.
Right.
Shaman had a series that he only missed 1 3-pointer from the perimeter.
11 of 12.
Series. That's
incredible. He was 1 of 4 on 2s and 11 of 12 on 3s.
Incredible.
And you're just seeing right now a New York Knicks team that is entirely and totally together and on a string. The stats back it up. We haven't really seen dominance like we have seen here from the New York Knicks. There is reason here for Knicks fans to be excited. So let's go behind those numbers a little bit here. They haven't just won 11 straight games, as Brian mentioned. They've done it in dominant fashion. They've outscored their opponents by 262 during that win streak. That's the best scoring differential over an 11-game span in NBA history. That's regular season and playoffs. And the Knicks, they've been at their best in closeout games. They became the first team with 3 series-clinching wins by at least 30 points within a single postseason in NBA history. And this series, it's not even really been close, right? The Knicks, they went on that huge run at the end of Game 1. And since then, they became the first team in NBA history to win all 4 games in the round before the finals by double digits. So they've really been cruising here in these conference finals. As for their next opponent, the Knicks, let's just take a look at how they did in the regular season here against both the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Knicks, they won 2 of 3 against the Spurs. That does include the regular season. And also remember, we saw these 2 teams in the in-season tournament title game. They won that one by over 11 points. They did, though, like many teams around the league, they lost both games to OKC rather, and they scored just 100 points per game, the second fewest against any opponent. But who is going to be healthy for OKC if they do make it past the Knicks? Well, that is a question for our Shams Charania. So Shams, we know that AJ Mitchell has already been ruled out for this all-important Game 5 tonight. What do we know about Jalen Williams here?
Malika, the Oklahoma City Thunder are continuing to evaluate Jalen Williams on a day-by-day basis, but the reality of the situation is the Thunder have now listed Jalen Williams as questionable with not just hamstring soreness, but a hamstring strain. That's the second strain to the same hamstring in just under a 1-month span. And so these injuries are typically measured in weeks and not really just days, particularly on a re-aggravation. So this is a sensitive, tricky, reoccurring hamstring issue that Jalen Williams has been dealing with. He did do some more movement warm-ups before Game 4, and I am told he's progressing, doing a little bit more basketball activity, but we'll see how that factors in tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, Shams, I did think it was interesting that the team changed the designation from hamstring soreness to hamstring strain. It's something that a lot of us wondered, maybe even suspected, but the team actually saying that I do think is interesting. Thank you very much for that insight, Shams. We'll be checking back in with you as we learn maybe a little bit more here. But Brian, knowing that J-Dub is questionable for this game, they already struggled without AJ Mitchell and not being able to take some of that ball handling relief away from Shea. How do you expect that to affect him?
Look, I can answer this question 2 ways.
Okay.
I can break down how maybe they could have Cason Wallace be a little bit more involved. Cason Wallace has had games in the regular season where he's had more than 10 assists. I could break down where they could maybe put the ball in Alex Caruso's hands a little bit to take away some of the pressure from Shea. But let's be honest. This is Game 5 of a 2-2 playoff series.
Yep.
Shea is an MVP, Finals MVP, 2-time MVP. They need Shea Gilgeous-Alexander to be absolutely great tonight. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a matter of him just forcing it and putting up shots, because you know that the Spurs have really been working on double teaming him and trying to force the ball at his hands. But bottom line, if you want to win multiple championships and you're going to be a great player, you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, this is a type of time where you deliver a big time game. It's got to be Shea tonight.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's also their defense. They got to take care of the ball. Shea has to take care of the ball, limit the turnovers. That's what lost them the game. But if they can get easier offense with their defense, deflections, turning San Antonio over, that's how they won those other games. San Antonio was averaging 21, 22 turnovers a game. If they can get back to that and get in some transition baskets where Jared McCain gets some threes, Jalen Williams gets some threes, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, it'll help their offense, because without those 2 other guys giving them some creativity or like creating shots with them, it's going to be very difficult for SGA just to carry that weight by himself offensively.
I think that in order to win a championship, you got to be lucky. You have to have a good matchup. You got to be talented, and you got to be healthy.
Yeah.
You got to have all 4 of those things. And as great as Shea is, and I know he has a cape somewhere in him, this might just be way too much to overcome. And the way San Antonio is defending him, just with Castle or Fox and Wemby waiting in the back, and challenging other guys to do something that are left with 2 less people on their bench. As great as he is, he's going to have to be like Magic without Kareem in that finals in Boston a long time ago, like that magnificent to get the Spurs, you know,
By himself.
By himself. That's a lot.
I don't put it past him at home with what Shea is able to do. I don't put that type of heroic performance past him. But it is either going to take 2 more heroic Shea Gilgeous-Alexander performances or 2 more heroic Victor Wembanyama performances for one of these 2 teams to get over the hump, and that's going to certainly be thrilling here to see. We did talk a little bit about the New York Knicks side of the Eastern Conference Finals. We do need to get to Cleveland's side of all of this. What kind of summer can we expect in the land after their season-ending sweep? Good thing we have Akron's own Brian Windhorst here to break it all down. Plus, Ban McMahon, he is on